Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. What's up? What's up?
Welcome to another episode of the Adult Puzzle Podcast. Whoop whoop.
Welcome. Hi, everyone.
Hey
Uh,
guys, I think it's just important to say a very big thank you, massive thank you to everyone who tuned in, who joined us on the Adult Puzzle Podcast launch. The reception was amazing. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, we want you guys to have as much fun as we have creating this for y'all. And yeah, anything you want to say, Lola?
no, same thing. Thank you, everyone. The reception, the feedback has been great. Share if you think anyone is going to vibe with it, please send them a link and let them listen in as well.
Everyone's gonna vibe with it. Send to your entire family. Send to everybody in your class. Send
Everyone.
to everybody on your floor. Send to everybody in your apartment. Send to everybody in your building.
Any
Let
human being you interact with.
if the president, if you're close with lawmakers in your in your country, say to the lawmakers, let them make it a law to listen to a Dog Puzzle podcast every day. You know,
Oh my gosh.
if
Yes.
your dad is the president, let them make it the new national anthem. A Dog Puzzle, new episodes. Change the national anthem every week. So as a new episode comes out, you have a new national anthem.
You have to memorize everything we say.
You know.
Oh gosh.
But no jokes. Thank you guys so much. And
Yeah,
yeah, we're back for another episode.
we are.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about something interesting. I think it's probably the most impactful subject and topic around the world, and it's generated quite the conversation. It's
Mhm.
divided people, it's brought people closer together. It's done also in such a short period of time, and it's been the new reality for the entire world for the most recent times, and that's COVID. Um, Lloyd and I wanted to address this because basically share more of our experiences during this period, how we managed, how we got through it, how we were able to, I don't know, we're going to be saying a lot because it was a different time for everybody involved
Mhm.
because nobody, I think, would have predicted such a time where, the world stopped basically and
Yeah.
people reacted differently and stuff. So it's quite deep, and we just want to share our own experiences and yeah, basically. And I think I would like to start off with, where were you when you first found out, the whole COVID thing? Where do you think you were when you heard of COVID?
Um, I was in when I first found out about what COVID was, or when
When it first became like a subject worthy of note for you, like where were you when you first heard about there's something called COVID out there?
COVID,
It's
yeah.
killing people. It's moving. It's yeah.
Loki, I think it was Christmas time 2019. I had heard about it just
Y'all heard about
briefly.
it Christmas?
Yeah,
Interesting.
it was just like a thing, right? It wasn't a reality for us or
Mm,
for me just
mm,
yet. And I remember I was going to South Africa. I was still in the States,
mm,
California.
mm,
I was supposed to be heading to South Africa in January for a wedding. And it was
mm-hmm.
just like a slight fear that we had. My family and I were like, we'll be fine. But that was the first time I heard about it. And at the time, it was just like, oh, it's just this virus somewhere in the world, but let's just be careful about it. That was it. How about
Mm.
you?
So I heard about COVID early January actually. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that there wasn't that much of a difference in our timelines, but I think it was shortly after I resumed back at work. I wouldn't say resumed because I didn't have holiday that period, but shortly I resumed back at work, and I saw on the news, CNN to be precise, that there's this virus COVID, and it was more about a China thing than not necessarily to say it's not saying at all that it's a Chinese virus, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't out then, and I'm like, okay, cool. If I'm being honest, I'm like, oh, maybe it's one of these things that happened that would never like get to Nigeria, stuff like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just moved on. Like, I didn't bother. I didn't think twice about it. I just knew there was something there called COVID. So it
Yeah.
it wasn't until early February, early or mid February that I started to get a little bit worried because then, it started spreading into Europe and yeah, then it started becoming scary.
Yeah. So, okay, what did you think about COVID at that time frame? I'm just curious. Like early 2020.
I had nothing to worry about.
Really?
To be honest with you, if I'm being honest, I had nothing to worry about. Zero fear, zero. It was one of those things that's, oh, cool. Another cool name, another, not
Yeah.
cool. You guys know what I mean. Like, it's again, it's because the media just throws in a whole bunch of stuff out there. There's really no
Yeah.
good news. And if you're me, the way I cope with all these things is just to like protect my personal space and my sanity because
Yeah.
the media houses really do not give you good news anymore. So you have to create your own joy. So that's my
Yeah.
thing. I
And
create
I
my own
think,
joy. Yeah.
yeah, I think also like something to say about the media is something I found out was depending on where you were at, how
Hmm.
COVID was being explained and presented to you varied.
Yo, Lade.
So some places it was like, oh, it's nothing to worry about. Some places it was like, oh, 20 people dying every single second. Like
If
it,
we're being honest, the
hmm.
media shaped the narrative of
Yes.
COVID. Like they steered the conversation based on their personal beliefs for like the first 12 months. How do I mean? If personally I'm the news anchor and I
Hmm.
feel that, oh, COVID is super dangerous and stuff, they let their own personal feelings dictate the severity. So there was a point in time where, as a media house, you should just report the news, but they were would I say, I won't say inflating numbers, they were inflating the severity. So it created a whole panic mm,
Yeah.
system amongst people. So like people started getting like really, really hyped up when they weren't like, how do I put it? Like they just created a sense of discord amongst so many people, and you found people like running helter skelter. Oh, what do I do? That's when you start finding out that, oh, toilet papers are out of the, like they didn't give the people who held like health, would I say health offices, public health offices, to like create a plan, create a system. So there was this entire panic amongst people, and everything just went into disarray. I felt the media could have done a lot better during that period, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I agree. I think it was a lot of the media sharing their opinions rather than using science to back it up. I do think COVID is something that like we should have taken seriously from day one.
That's why in Nigeria, some media houses will have been, okay, maybe not Nigeria, but I knew there were some media houses carrying, oh, drink two
Yes.
cups of 2 cups of garlic in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Zinc is the new cure. Once you take zinc, and I'm like, what the hell?
Wait.
Everybody becomes like a doctor, and like, I
Yep.
mean, what the? I mean, to be honest with you, for the first 12 months, it was just really, really scary. And of course, trust Nigerian parents. Any new WhatsApp video, they'll have sent it to all their kids already. Only God knows how many videos I got from my mom. Okay, now it's zinc. Tomorrow is ginger. The next day is garlic. Another day is salt. I'm like, please.
No. Yeah, it was crazy. It's funny because like I remember when COVID hit,
Hmm.
I genuinely thought the world was coming to an end.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was like, okay,
Fair enough. I
if
mean,
there's a way for humanity to just like be done,
mhm.
it would be through a virus, right? Like,
Fast, actually. The fastest way, if we were being honest.
right?
Do you remember how fast Italy got shut down? I don't know if you were paying attention to the news. It was like 0 to 90, 90 to 100. It was really, really weird and fast. It was like
Mhm.
Italy was good yesterday. Let's assume yesterday was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Italy was on lockdown. It made zero sense, but it happened. That's how fast this virus was moving, and it was just a weird period. And that brings me to my next question. When did lockdown hit for you? Because
Yeah, so lockdown hit for me April 2020. And what
mm,
that looked like was like I went to work one day
hmm
physically at work,
hmm
and we had been hearing about things in the background, right? Like,
hmm
oh, there's this uh what is it called? Oh shoot, I can't remember. Cruise ship that's like hitting San Francisco area with so and so passengers with COVID. Like we kept hearing the noise, but it was never really close. But then went to work one day and literally they sent us an email saying, "You're not after today, do not come back into the office till May."
hmm.
LOL, we thought. So that
May,
day, I took almost everything.
I wish,
Yeah,
I wish they knew May.
I know,
Interesting.
right?
I mean, I think it's fair enough to also ask, like, what were your initial thoughts? Like, do you think it was just like, okay, maybe like a break, ish, you know?
No, I was freaking out. It's okay. So to give some context,
Uh huh.
at the time, like that April timeframe, I was living by myself. So prior to that, I had a housemate, a flatmate in our apartment. But then she had left. So I was by myself in a two-bedroom, two-bathroom apartment. And I'm hearing all about this pandemic. They're saying don't travel, stay where you are, stay locked up, stock up on food,
Mm-hmm.
get all the medication you need. And things were so out of stock. So I was freaking out.
Mm,
Um, yeah, worst anxiety of my entire life. I couldn't sleep. I was having so much insomnia. And it
mm,
was also trying to balance like, okay, what are the chances of me getting this stuff? If I get
mm-hmm.
it, am I going to die? Because also, if you remember at the beginning, there wasn't enough clarity on what this virus was. Like, we were
Mm-hmm.
hearing things like, oh, it's airborne. Oh, it's not airborne. Oh, if you get it, you die. Oh, if you get it, you won't die. If you're
Mm-hmm.
65 and younger, you're good.
Mm,
You need to wear a mask. You don't need to. There was
I
just
do
conflicting
remember those.
information. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was freaking out. I would say I was freaking out from like April up until maybe like May, June, before the second wave hits. I think that was like summertime. But yeah, I was definitely freaking out. And then my initial like lockdown habits, as much as I
Mm.
was freaking out, a part of me was excited to be able to work from home. I would say that first week of work from home, a joke. I was working from my bed.
Oh my God.
Working from my bed.
I
I
don't
wasn't
even
doing
want to
much.
imagine.
I wasn't doing much. I wasn't like getting out of my pajamas. I was ordering food. It was just like a mini vacation.
Vacation.
Yeah, that first week.
Life
How
is
about
good,
you?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, lockdown for me started maybe middle of March.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what did it
personally.
look like in Nigeria? Was it like lockdown, lockdown, don't come out unless you need to?
So I would say there were like three phases.
Mhm.
So the first phase in Nigeria was not a lot of people believed in it. And when I say people, so you must understand that in Nigeria, people are dictated by their organization. So a lot of people don't work for themselves, right? A lot of people have
Mhm.
9 to 5s. So whatever those executives think should happen is what is going to happen. So at the
Yeah.
beginning, because they didn't want to lose any money, and of course, being a third world country, they do not prioritize our lives or values, or they don't allocate meaning to our lives or our hours or our stress levels and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
they were like, oh, it's not that serious here. Y'all keep working and everything. So there was a lockdown, but they were not it wasn't in effect, if you get what I mean. So people who wanted to stay safe just took it upon themselves, like, yo, fuck it, if I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to lose my job. Or the people who worked for themselves decided to stay home. So that was the first phase. Second phase is where the government had to intervene, and the government then said, you know what? If you want to fuck with us, we're gonna fuck up your business. So everybody stay home. So then the streets were cleared out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
Then the third phase was when the people were tired of staying home because there was no more food and they
Yeah.
didn't have money to get food.
Yeah, the economy had been
Yeah.
affected.
So
Yeah.
then it was a situation where if I die, I die. Like if I'm home, I'm gonna die regardless because I don't have money to buy food and I don't have food. What's gonna happen to my kids? What's gonna happen to my family? So those were the three phases. But
Mhm.
lockdown for me personally started around March because my family unit we weren't like yeah, we thank God, maybe because of privilege, we're able to like sort ourselves early on time and
Mhm.
just decide to like, stay out from the world, created our own bubble and we're following rules and stuff like that. So, yeah, and that followed all the way through till whenever they said, because even after they called lockdown off and
Mhm.
people started going out, I personally didn't go out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got too comfortable with having my own space because again, then I didn't trust other people. So it wasn't a situation of maybe I couldn't or I didn't want to go out. I didn't just trust the average person's social etiquette when going out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So simple as using your mask, sanitizing your hands. They weren't willing to do that
Mhm.
because a lot of them didn't believe. In fact, there was a thing in Nigeria that COVID is rich man's disease.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you, facts. So
Wait, was it because the richer folks were getting it more?
yeah, so you know how well in Nigeria the person who, according to the media, brought into Nigeria was someone working with international company and everything. So he flew in and he
Mhm.
had the virus and he chartered an Uber or he ordered an Uber from the airport and moved to his company or whatever or house whatever, and that's how the virus got into Nigeria. So they're like it's only people that can afford tickets like international flights and stuff
Mhm.
because again I must let you know that in Nigeria we were in our own zone, but you know people it was already moving mad in Europe, entered some places in North America. So they were like if you're rich enough to get on a flight in the first place, you know what I'm saying, and contract it, it seems to be moving around those people who are privileged enough for that kind of service. So they felt like I'm in the market, like what's going to happen to me inside the market space? What's going to happen to me inside my little kiosk in my, in my city? It's not going to reach me here. So that's how they were. Plus, for the first 1 month in Niger, the people that were getting it, or maybe for the first 3 weeks, were like high profile people.
Yeah, I remember that.
High profile people. So a lot of Nigerians just zeroed in like, oh, you know what? It's a rich man's disease.
That's
Yeah.
that's actually funny, but not true.
What did the whole thing change for you? What did COVID change for you personally?
Hmm. So it changed. It's crazy because like I'm still living in a mini post-COVID world. Like things
Mm,
haven't fully gone back to normal. So the
sure.
post-COVID or pre-COVID, sorry, and post-COVID now, it's starting to blur up a little bit. But
Mm,
so the first thing that I think obviously changed for me was work, like work from home. Before
mm-hmm,
COVID, I think I used to work from home maybe like once or twice a month. And even
mm-hmm,
those 2 days a month were so cherished by me.
mm-hmm,
Now I work from home basically every day. I haven't gone back into the office since, I mean, I've gone back twice for a few things, but
mm-hmm,
I haven't gone in since April of 2020. So
mm,
work, and with work hours. I think it's specifically the type of job that I have. I find that I'm spending more time working, like
mm-hmm.
work hours. But the weird thing is, like, I find myself more distracted from home than I was at work. Like at work, I would just like
So you can get
hyper
more things
focus.
done at work than you would at working from home.
Yeah, under a shorter period of time, because I'm still getting much done from home. It's just
Hmm.
instead of doing, I don't know, 7 hours at work physically, I'm now doing about 10 to 11 hours at home with short 15-minute breaks here and there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that has changed. Travel, I think it's getting back to normal now, but that year was so hard because I couldn't travel much. I was basically just stuck. Celebrations, I think as well, like birthdays. My mom had her 60th birthday that year, and it just felt so weird because we had planned this whole party and we had to move it to virtual.
Mm.
Graduations, like my best friends were graduating and it was like a virtual thing. So celebrations were
Can
very
I just say
different.
it wasn't really funny for those who were celebrating milestones that
Yeah,
year?
yeah, it
It was
wasn't.
really, really tough. I think the first set of people that graduated in this, spring, no, first set of people that graduated in the fall,
Y-
they didn't find it fun. It was like a
In the
joke at
spring.
first, but when they
Yeah,
found out that, oh, convocation is gonna be like virtual, like the hell.
yeah,
So that was really weird. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. But it wasn't all bad. I would say on the flip side,
Hmm.
the good thing that did change for me were just everyday habits. I found myself picking up good habits during COVID because I did have the time. I
Mm,
wasn't like rushing,
that's
like
unique. A lot of people developed bad habits.
okay, don't get me wrong. I definitely developed some bad habits.
Hmm.
But the reason why I'm even saying the good habits is because they have actually stuck. And like I said, my post
Oh,
COVID,
okay.
um, I mean, it's not like COVID is gone, but in this day and age that I'm living in now, I still have things that have carried over from COVID impacts to now.
Yeah.
So, for example, work from home. And let me give you examples of good habits. Like when I wake up now, I have a full 45-minute morning routine that I who had 45 minutes before
Hmm.
after waking up, and it's about 45 minutes to an hour where I wake up, I pray, work out, actually journal
Mm,
before I start prepping for work. And granted, it's just like getting dressed and putting on my camera, but
mm,
that has been scrapped out commute time that I'm now using for morning routine.
mm.
So that's been pretty nice. I think the other thing that COVID allowed me to do was check in more with like family because ultimately everyone was scared during COVID. Like, oh, I hope parents are okay, aunties, uncles, whatever the case may
Yeah.
be. So that the other good thing was like hobbies. I don't know if you found yourself asking yourself the question of, I have time now,
Hmm.
especially on the weekends, right? Because after work on the weekends, you do stuff. But
Hmm.
at the peak of COVID, where are you going to? Nowhere. You're sitting your
Hmm.
ass at home. So it's like, how do you entertain yourself Friday night, Saturday, Sunday? And
Hmm.
that's where I found myself, even us, that's when we started having conversations about like podcasts, other things that I'm
Right.
interested in. Yeah. So
Right.
those are, I would say, the good things that COVID did change for me. The not so great things, like I said, travel, working more hours. I think a big one for me, and I'm still not back, is church because church
Hmm.
moved remote. And I remember the church I used to go to before COVID. I
Hmm.
really liked the community and the choir and all of that. And it
Hmm.
wasn't the same. It's like it's a smaller church, so they don't have the full capabilities of doing like a mega virtual church online.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that really sucked because I really lost that element of community with them and I switched over to another bigger church. But I still haven't gone back because it's still very limited there. But that is one thing I would say I'm missing. And then ultimately just going out more and seeing people. But slowly that's picking up a lot now.
But for me, the major change
Yeah.
was me developing a sense of appreciation for the little things, and
Yeah.
I will explain what that means. So, little things being just seeing people, like going to a restaurant to have dinner, lunch, something, having, I mean, it just made me appreciate even fresh air, like stepping out the house. Of course, like it started making me feel like the air I breathe on the road or in the office is different from the air I breathe in my compound. Like, I just needed that change in scenery. And for a long time, I'm thinking to myself, wow, so you can miss the office, quote unquote. You can miss being on the road. You can miss going for dinner somewhere. You can miss having to travel. You can miss like just those little things, seeing a family member. Oh, I didn't see you today. I want to come see you. Stuff like that. So that was a major thing for me. I just started to develop a lot, lot of appreciation for those little things. And
That's
yeah,
pretty cool,
the things
actually.
you said too,
Yeah.
good, bad habits here and there, more bad habits for me because for like the first, let me know, put myself on blast here because I see what they did to Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, but like,
What happened?
I can't say, how Ashton Kutcher do like they don't bathe their kids and
Oh,
shit.
Jesus. Someday were you being dirty?
I ain't saying much in that. I ain't speaking much. For the first few weeks, maybe 2 weeks, late bath, like late. Like once I brush,
Mm-hmm.
I could just enter a zone of like, because I wasn't working like corporate.
Mm-hmm.
I was fully into my tech and entertainment bag during that period. So
Mm-hmm.
like, hmm, once I do like my podcast stuff, work for me was even fun. You
Yeah.
understand what I mean? So like I wasn't in the whole I wasn't on 9 to 5 p then.
Yeah.
Then I watched a lot of movies and once I entered like a gear, I just go pick my food from downstairs, get in my zone, lounge,
So you were
and I
chilling.
yo, I was, you know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah. It's
that go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say it's actually interesting that you say that because I just thought about something. During that time frame,
Hmm.
I remember a slight fear of job security. And I think a lot of people who work the 9 to 5 route, and obviously we saw in the States specifically, I don't know about Nigeria, but there were a lot of people that um, lost their jobs because of COVID, and companies were trying to really just hold on to whatever they had
Hmm.
so that they had a longer runway with whatever money they have, and so they let people
Hmm.
go. And I remember thinking during that time, like, damn, like, is my job secured? And there was that like ounce of uncertainty where it was like, okay, I'm working, that's nice, like I'm so happy to be able to have this, but is this going to last for a long time? And I remember there were a few people that I like in my circle that work in my field as well that had that same issue where it was like, oh, they got forgoed. And I was like, oh, damn, like this could really happen to anyone. It wasn't you. It had nothing to do with your performance. It was all because the company was trying to make sure that they were good for the runway that they needed to reserve
Hmm.
during the COVID period. Yeah. But that just reminded me of
Interesting.
that. Hmm.
Interesting.
Did that happen in Nigeria?
It well, it did. It
Yeah.
did, to be honest, cause which is why I told you like after a while, the third phase, people were like, "Fuck it!" Like I'm going back outside because
Yeah.
they a lot of people, first of all, were laid off.
Yeah.
Once some companies were able to discover that, yo, wait a minute, I don't have to spend money on diesel.
Mhm.
I really do not need the cleaner anymore. Oh, I don't need the driver too.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need the kitchen non-admin staff too. Oh, and work is still getting done. You know what? Here's your letter. Here's your letter. Here's your letter. Here's your letter. Everybody gets a letter. Thanks for coming. Close up. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yo,
it
yeah.
became. I mean, companies were saving millions of dollars a day. What are we
Yeah.
saying? So if I mean annually, I'm spending about. Let me work in naira now. I'm spending about 250 mil on all these like extra services to keep the company running, and you're
Mhm.
telling me that I caught all of that zero. Hey, what do you think they would do? So
Yeah. I
definitely job
mean,
security was a huge thing,
yeah.
huge thing.
it makes sense. Like it sucks, as an employee,
Mm-hmm.
but putting myself in the mind of a business owner, obviously there's good and bad ways to go about
Mm-hmm.
layoffs, but
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense why they were layoffs at that time.
But again, I'm speaking for Nigerians now.
Yeah.
This is why I love them so much. They
Mhm.
were able to pivot quickly.
Yeah.
When I tell you the turnaround rate in the way they looked at businesses in Nigeria, a lot of things that weren't there a month prior became legit businesses, and these people were making money. So shout out to, I'm sure probably the same way for people around the world, but like Nigeria to be precise, they were able to pivot quickly. And
Yeah.
I do want to ask this. So today, what does the COVID impact look like for you? Like,
Yeah, I think even bouncing off of what you just said to answer this question, I think worldwide, a lot of companies, not even just companies, but in certain sectors, for example, education. My mom works in the education sector,
mm,
and I'm talking like K, is it 1 to 12? So like young kids.
mm,
Before that's a very much heavy classroom setting, physical, whereas they
mm-hmm,
had to move everything online. And unlike us, or even, I don't know, college students, where yes, we get distracted online, but we can very much hold teachers can hold our attention off of online classes. With
mm-hmm,
younger kids, that's much harder. So in that sector, there has to be a lot of pivot on how do we make sure kids are paying attention. And then all around the world in different sectors, I think people have had to pivot. And we saw booms of certain types of companies, for example, Zoom, workout classes that are remote.
mm.
I'm forgetting the other ones. But yeah, how did I think? Wait, what was the question? Sorry, I kind of forgot.
I said, what does the COVID impact look like for
To,
you
for
now
for
today?
me,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So before I answer for me, but for the society, it's quite amazing to see how things have changed and evolved in such a short amount of time.
Mm,
Specifically, I'm talking the virtual world, like how most things can be done virtually now.
mm-hmm,
um for me, I think COVID, my life right now is very much a I'm still working from home 100%. Now I get to see friends and family way more, but there's still that limitation of like I can't go every single where I want to. Like international trips are still kind of limited.
mm,
There's certain things that I still don't do just yet. So there's still limitations for me now, but it's so much better than what it was middle of 2020, where I it was home, grocery store. Like grocery store was my entertainment for the week. I got to see
mm-hmm.
human beings. But yeah, that's what it looks like for me. And I would say that what I thought was going to happen was that
Mm,
it was going to take a while for things to bounce back, because there was a period in 2020 where things were kind of tight, right? Like we didn't
mm,
have an idea of, okay, when are we going to get vaccines?
mm,
When are things going to go back to normal? So in
mm,
my head, I just thought like, yeah, this is going to last a while. Like we're going to be in this for a long time. And we are about maybe a year plus now, and
mm,
things are pretty much back to normal, but like I said, with the advancements that COVID has brought us. So that,
mm.
in my opinion, is quite amazing and fascinating.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that brings me as we round up, that brings me to my to my very, very interesting question.
Okay.
Will pre-COVID normal ever exist again?
I don't think so.
I agree completely. Like
Yeah.
200% agree.
Yeah. And for the points that you said earlier, right? I think with COVID, we started to realize what wasn't necessary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like having everyone come to the office,
Mm-hmm.
or needing to be physically present for certain
Mm-hmm. I was
things.
just about to say social interaction will never be the same again. Like
Yeah.
it's just what it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Short answer, no. What are you looking forward to once everything goes back to quote unquote like the best version of normal that it can be. Well, what are you most looking forward to? Travel, concerts, you know.
Yeah, definitely the activities, like less limitations on activities. I think the biggest, this is going to sound so freaking dumb, but
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to not needing to wear a mask anymore. Everyone wear a mask. Like masks are absolutely important. They limit
Hmm.
the spread.
Hmm.
But I can't wait to the point where almost everyone is vaccinated. We have herd immunity. We have medications for
Hmm.
COVID.
Hmm.
So the requirement to wear a mask is limited, and then we don't
Hmm.
need to wear one. However, I will say this, as much as I'm looking forward to not wearing a mask for everyday things, I do think wearing a mask on the plane is required. Like that's something that in my head, I was like, why weren't we doing this before? Wait, but what's your answer? What is the thing you're looking forward to the most once things go back to normal?
Uh, that's difficult for me because I've gotten so used to this new
Mhm.
lifestyle. I don't even remember what pre-COVID really looks like anymore. And
Yeah.
if I do I really want pre-COVID? Now I'm even finding it hard to shake people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Are you
I,
serious?
I mean,
When I saw my coworkers, I hugged them, and I don't know if I was supposed to do that, but
to be honest, I haven't shook someone in so long.
Mhm.
I don't see the need to. Like, I can just tell you because I don't know where your hands been. You know what I'm saying? Like, during COVID, you became more curious to how germs can be passed. Like, stuff I wouldn't pay attention to naturally. Like,
Mhm.
because I wanted to keep safe and keep healthy, I had to research on what to do and why I didn't have to shake someone's hand or why I shouldn't shake someone's hand. So
Mhm.
now I know why I shouldn't. The question is, why should I shake your hand now? If it's not COVID, your hand could have probably been somewhere else. And I don't know. And I don't want to have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird. But I will say, maybe going on trips with friends, maybe, having get togethers, stuff like even though to be honest, to a certain degree, all that is possible now. So far you trust the circle of people you want to do that with. Because I mean people are outside now, you know what I'm saying? Like concerts are in full effect, stuff even though to backtrack, things will never be the same. People are making way too much money off this whole COVID thing for things to ever go back to the same way. How many COVID tests do you think is required for you to take a trip from here to Nigeria? Take a wild guess.
Like 3, I think.
That's only going.
Oh yeah, that's true. So one way
Only
street.
going one way. Which
Yeah.
is why, like, and in Nigeria, in Naira,
Yeah.
I think a COVID test is 50 G's.
I heard, yeah, and it's not covered by insurance, so yeah.
Insurance.
Was
Lolade.
that?
You mentioned insurance with so much ease. An
uh,
average Nigerian see 50K from where?
yeah.
Like 50K sounds like ah, it. Anyway, it is what it is.
More questions for you about COVID, and they're just coming to my head. So, do you remember when the vaccines came out and there was just so much like backlash on
Ah,
how? Please, what was the backlash in Nigeria? I'm just so curious.
nobody was touching that shit in Nigeria. 666 vaccine.
From the devil, Satan
From the
himself.
Yo, you know how in Nigeria we already believed or is widely believed by a lot of people that
Hmm.
um, America has these chips that they are putting inside people, and that's like the devil's mark and everything, and 666 chips. So when they even imagine them saying like, "Why did you make the vaccine so fast?" And there was also this thing about them testing it on Africans first.
Oh
Like
yeah, I remember
they were
that
looking,
bullshit. I was
yo,
so upset.
people in Nigeria wearing going near this shit. Like vaccine, take it back to your father's land.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember
Nobody
that.
was hearing it. What vaccine? What? Like, imagine that was just vaccine. Then
Yeah,
it became the type of vaccine. So
yeah.
there was now strata in vaccine again. So they were like Pfizer. No, Pfizer is a good one. Like Moderna. Moderna who? Hmm.
Wait, Moderna is good too, though.
But for a long time, Pfizer was the only trusted one. Then, but
Mm.
Moderna, of course, I think a week after it came out, like, okay, we trust you. AstraZeneca, be how they, that's
AstraZeneca.
yo
Uh,
Astra whatever. That one they even connected with Russia, and they were like, it's all over. They want to wipe away Africans.
oh my gosh, that's so
Yo, and that's
funny.
the one they brought to Nigeria. AstraZeneca
Yeah,
was the one that came to Nigeria at first, and
yeah.
yo, oh my god, they were like, yeah, y'all can take it. Then they were saying they should mandate it for all like the press. They should mandate it for the president. They should mandate it for the chief of staff. They should mandate it for all the people like in high offices. So like, if anything did happen, all those people can like kudos.
Wipe away.
So
No, yeah.
oh Lord have mercy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
Uh,
that's actually interesting.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I feel like here, like I said, it was a mixed bag. It was
Mhm.
depending on where you were getting your media source from. That
Hmm.
was really going to determine the type of information you gathered and collected.
Mhm.
Like if it
Mhm.
was very much science oriented, you were getting the facts around like, okay, this is our mRNA vaccine. You get the
Mhm.
understanding of the technology. However, if it's like a social a media outlet that knows nothing about science, they'll say, "Oh, they're trying to alter your DNA." Just some bullshit. And like, okay, so the company I worked for, or the company I work for, we actually partnered with Moderna to help provide them the genomic profiling of the virus, right? And I
Mhm.
remember like understanding the details of that and how Moderna came together with their technology and just understanding the sciences, and then listening to people saying, oh yeah, they're trying to change your DNA, you're gonna wake up and have blue eyes or wake up and like something's gonna happen to you, like you're gonna change. And I'm just like, guys, let's do our research, let's understand the science
In
before we just
fact,
jump into conclusion.
hey, God, maybe you guys, I'm sure the listeners will be like, "Why is this guy always talking about Nigeria?" That's my reality,
That is reality,
So,
please.
oh, people weren't just having it; they weren't buying it. They were like, "No, once you take 2 cups of ginger,
Oh
that's
yeah.
all you need. It boosts your immune system." In fact, I'm sure during the period of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
all those COVID immune vitamin C immune
Yep.
boosters, they were finished in all the pharmacies.
Yep.
Finished,
Yep.
sold out.
That
In
was me
fact,
too, though. I'm not gonna lie.
pharmacies were booming during that COVID period. I'm sure they will have been praying for COVID not to end because
Yeah.
you get to a pharmacy and you're like, "Oh, can I get like a vitamin C immune boosters, please?" And they're like, "Sold out." Imagine pharmacy using sold out for you, and they will smile. They'll be like, "Oh, sorry, you're
Put
not
out.
in luck. Can I buy a mask, please?" They'll be like, "Sold out." Can I buy this paracetamol? Oh, sold out. We're expecting the next shipment. I'm
Really
like,
boasting and all. People are out here
busting.
getting sick.
That's
They're
what I'm
crying
saying.
for oversold out drugs.
Oh my god! And there was really one day where I went to the pharmacist and could I get a mask? And she was like, "Ah, I just sold the last one." I'm like, "Are you okay?" You, you need to see her face. She was like, "I just sold the last one." If you came 5 minutes
5 minutes
earlier,
early.
just 5 minutes, in fact, 3 minutes, you would have gotten that mask.
Love got
I'm so
that mask.
sorry.
So
I'm so
now
sorry.
you have to go out into the world and protect yourself.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
God.
It wasn't a funny period. And things
Nah.
were just ridiculously expensive then.
Oh yeah.
A box of masks usually would go for, maybe 1,500, 2,000. At the peak of COVID, Lade, a box of masks were going for as high as 30,000 naira.
Oh yeah. Same here actually. There was a very bad
So
mask scarcity for months. I think it was up until like the summer fall time.
those
Yeah.
were parts of COVID that, besides the death and people falling sick, those were parts that I didn't really enjoy. And
Mhm.
because our economy could not, you know, soak in the pressure in
Mhm.
terms of like maybe the government bearing some costs for certain services, it's really COVID really exposed our economy. You understand what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
everybody for himself. If you can't afford it, die.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that definitely was. And I think like even getting more serious now, unfortunately, as much as COVID doesn't discriminate in the
Hmm,
sense of who gets it,
hmm,
it affects certain groups um just because of I think lack of resources. And that's what was so sad to watch,
hmm,
specifically because equal um it wasn't an equal race for all. Like some
hmm.
people in some certain communities had it way worse because already they had the bets against them, whereas versus some people it was like, oh yeah, this would not phase us, like, whatever. And that was very, very sad to kind of watch unfold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree completely.
Yeah.
But there were some countries that handled the vaccine really well. And I want to shout out a specific country, New Zealand.
Shout
Oh,
out New Zealand, we need to get a trip there.
yo.
We're shouting you guys out.
The Prime Minister,
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
for every of our listeners there in New Zealand, if we have any, shout out to you all. That's a
Yeah.
country you should be proud of.
Yeah.
She again, shout out to all the females, man. Women be pulling the strings, man. Yo,
Guys.
s- standing ovation for all the women around the world. The Prime Minister of New Zealand is a woman,
Yeah.
and her handling of that COVID period, the entirety of it was just world class.
Yeah.
Her decision making, the
The
she was just
approach was just
awesome. The
impeccable. Yeah.
approach, you understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she knew what to do per time. Shout out to her team too.
Yeah.
But the final decisions were her call, and she made those tough decisions
Yeah.
under so much pressure, even when it wasn't a popular decision. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So like even when the whole world was scrambling, again, America inclusive, shout out to y'all, take yourself. But like, when they let to argue the rights, that wasn't the case in their own country.
Yeah.
Everybody was in sync. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we don't want our people to die. What is the collective answer? You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah. Shout out to New Zealand. I just had to say that. Yo,
Yeah.
they did a
No,
fantastic job.
I absolutely agree. We still can't go visit because they're still strict, but as they should, right?
Yo,
Like,
New Zealand is on our radar now. Yo,
yeah. This is fun. I do have one last question for you. This is
shoot.
kind of to round it up. What is something that you would miss once things go back to the new normal? So no more COVID to worry about. COVID is like out of sight, out of
Mhm,
mind.
mhm.
What would you
Amen
miss?
in Jesus' name. Oh,
Yes,
amen.
amen.
So, what's something I would miss
Yes.
about like pre-normal life? Like
Yes,
when we return
basically.
back to
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
uh, I would miss maybe being fully clothed from the waist up and not necessarily like being complete. How do I put it? Like
I'm like, what's
I could
being
be dressed.
fully
I
clothed?
could be dressed for an interview and be in a
Oh,
meeting
gotcha. Yeah.
and not be like dressed for an
Yeah,
interview.
I
You know what
got
I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
basically bottom down, no jammies or
yeah.
boxers.
So
Yes.
the ease of doing meetings, no matter how serious they were,
Yeah.
would be taken away from you. So now you have to like pick the perfect talks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Get to Uber or drive to your meeting place or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, so I'll miss virtual meetings if we ever do return there. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll miss virtual meetings are a star, 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 star,
Are you
star.
serious?
I prefer the for meetings that how 9 to 5 again. It's a 9 to 5 stereotype. Like with 9 to 5s, I personally don't like physical meetings. But let's say AP recording now, and we do have a studio.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be there every day.
You be there.
I'll be there every day. So
Yeah.
it's a preference thing for me, Sha.
Yeah. I feel that.
What
I
would you
feel that.
miss?
Low key, I'm gonna miss blaming COVID on everything.
Ah,
Like, oh yeah, I can't come today. I think I'm feeling a
oh
little
my,
something something.
excellent point. Shout outs to you,
Or it's
man.
like someone is saying, "Oh, Lola, you should come somewhere." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't feel too comfortable."
If COVID was a person, you'd be like, you're lying.
Looking at me like this girl can lie, oh.
How did that stop you from waking up at the right time and going? Yo,
As
yeah,
in,
COVID did get blamed a lot and still does
yeah,
get blamed a lot for a lot of stuff. So
yeah.
yeah.
There was even a time, like at work, where when our timelines are shifting or things, it's like, "Oh yeah, COVID."
Hmm.
And you ask, like, did anyone on the team get COVID? No, 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 no. But somehow it's impacted us.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, right.
Strange times we're living in.
That's what I'll miss the most, I think. And then I think the other thing is just the flexibility to
Hmm.
the max. 'Cause I know once things go back to normal, it wouldn't be work from home 100%. As much as like
Hmm.
I do want to go back to the office certain times a week just to have that social element of things,
Hmm.
I don't want to be working every single day at the office, but I will miss the flexibility of like not needing to wake up, account for an hour and a half before leaving the house and all
Hmm.
of that. Yeah, I'll miss that.
Hmm. Yep. With that being said, we've come to the end of another exciting episode. Thank you all for listening. And please don't forget to subscribe, share, rate, like the podcast on all streaming platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Please, please, please like and share. Also, follow our social media handles on Twitter as well as IG,
Yep.
Instagram, and we'll be sure to put out great content for y'all on all those spaces. And we look forward to you guys listening to our next episode.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Expect an episode every Monday. Um,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, and we out. Thank you guys.
Bye, guys.